If you're married with kids, chances are you're pretty well-rounded socially, right? You've got your kids, you've got a few of your couple friends that you and your wife go hang out with, like the neighbors down the street, or you've got some work pals and maybe even some extended family that lives in the area. And of course, you see and hang out with those people from time to time. Basically, you've got some people. Now think about this. Your kids are grown and they're off to school, or maybe they moved out of state for work, and to top it off, your wife recently left you and she took all your friends. Because that's how it works, right? The dudes that were part of your couple friends, they can't really hang out with you anymore because the women, for the most part, they all take sides with your ex-wife. And if you've gone through any type of breakup or divorce, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's crazy because even those dudes that you thought were solid, they don't hit you up anymore. And when you try to reach out to them to maybe to get together, there's always an excuse that they can't meet up. And that is a really hard pill to swallow, but it happens every single day. And it's mostly men who get the short end of that stick. And if I'm going through it, chances are a lot of you are going through it or have gone through it also. Now, really quick, I've got a lot more to talk about on this, but I wanted to let you know right up front that if you're working through something and you're maybe not sure what the next step is, consider talking with a professional. And that's why BetterHelp came on board to sponsor today's video. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. And when you use BetterHelp, it's super easy to sign up and get matched with a therapist. Then you can tap into their network of over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with all sorts of things in your life that you're dealing with. There's going to be a link down below in the description to betterhelp.com/fashion. Now, clicking that link gets you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp so that you can connect with the therapist and just give it a try and just see if it helps you. You just answer a couple questions about what you're looking for, your needs and your preferences, and then BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you can talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's text, chat, phone, or video, and you can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you. And the really cool thing is that if you don't really click with that therapist for whatever reason, which can be common when you're first starting out, you can easily switch to a brand new therapist for absolutely free without worrying about your insurance or anything like that. So if you're struggling with anything, please consider online therapy with BetterHelp. Click that first link in the description to betterhelp.com/fashion. And thank you, BetterHelp, for supporting my channel and for sponsoring today's video. Okay, so let's back up for 1 second and talk about friends. So I'm the type of person that needs social interaction. I mean, think about it. Humans are social creatures, right? And most of us need some type of social engagement to feel like we're part of something and that we belong. And there's only really a small number of people that can truly handle a life of complete solitude. And personally, I only have a few friends, and it's a pretty tight circle. Now, I've mentioned this in some other videos, but I do a weekly get-together with some of these guys. It doesn't always happen every week because of our schedules, but we've been doing this for the last 2 years, and we all try to make it a point to be there every single week. It's just a chance for us to catch up and just talk about current events or whatever else is going on in our lives. It's a really tight group, and honestly, it's a hard ticket to get. However, we did recently add one other guy to the group, and I'm still in the process of getting to know him really well, but he's a pretty good fit in our group, and he's got an interesting and tragic story. Now, I won't get into all the details, but he had been married for 30 years to the love of his life, and his wife passed away just about 1 year ago. It's a sad story, obviously, so now I think he's in a position where he's trying to figure out what's next. He's a good-looking dude, he's got a full head of hair, he's got a great job, so technically, you would consider him a catch. Now at this point, he is slowly trying to get back out there, but because he's been completely out of the dating market for so long, I think he's trying to figure out where he fits in. So we were all talking a few weeks ago, and I was explaining to him how valuable he is on the dating market right now. But I don't think he had really any idea that he's what we might call the top 1%. Okay, so let me show you guys this. There's a little calculator online, and I'll link to it down below, and you can fill out like a bunch of different criteria to figure out the percentage of men in the US that fit that criteria. Now, technically, this is a calculator for women to put in what they're looking for in a man, just to let them know the realities of the small number of men that basically all of these women are fighting for. But anyway, let me show you this. So let's go fill out some criteria. And like I said, this is basically showing how many men in the US meet these criteria. So let's just do this. Let's be a little broad. Let's top it out at age 60 and let's start at age 40. Let's just do kind of a broad scale here. And of course, we're talking about single guys, so we're excluding married men, any race. Let's do 6 feet tall. Let's just do 6 feet tall. It's a nice round number. We can go lower or higher. I can't really do a scale here, but we're also excluding obese men because, like I said, this website is basically for women so they can figure out how many men in the US meet their criteria. So let's do this. Let's go $100,000. Okay? So how many men in the US meet these criteria? Not married, any race, at least 6 feet tall, not obese, and earns at least $100,000 per year. 0.30% of men in the US meet this criteria. That's less than 1%. So this is very interesting. So if you take a look at this website, put in your numbers and find out how many men in the US are like you, right? Are you top 1%? Are you top 5%? It's interesting, and I wanted to show you guys. And for the record, this is really the only resource that I've been able to find anyway that allows you to kind of categorically sort like that. And there's really nothing out there that I've seen anyway where you can separate like married men from single men. You can do a Google search and you can find out how many men or how many households in the US that make a certain amount of money, but that doesn't really scale it down in the way that this does. And I think it's pretty legit because they're pulling data from a few different sources like the US Census. So for my new friend who basically had no idea about any of this, it made him feel really good about himself. And I hope that's exactly what he needs right now because he's a solid dude. But entering the dating market again in your 50s after 30 years of being married, I mean, think about it, man. That can be a bit overwhelming, especially the way things are right now. Now, one thing that I might suggest to you guys, if you've got a friend or two that's interested, maybe think about setting up a weekly guys' day where you guys go grab a beer and some chicken wings and just talk about stuff. It doesn't have to be anything monumental, but it also can be, especially if you guys are all working on something. Now, here's something really interesting. There was a study that found you have a 65% chance of completing a goal if you tell somebody else that you're committing to it. And if you have specific check-ins with your accountability buddies, your chance of success increases to 95%. So ask around your circle of friends and see if anyone's interested. Now, something else I started last year is a twice-a-year goal-setting dinner. Now, once at the beginning of the year, and then another one mid-year to kind of check in to see how everyone's doing. Now, I talked about this before in some other videos where some really high achievers that I know invited me into this group. And I'm probably the lowest net worth guy at the entire table, but we all go out to a really fancy dinner and we all list out our goals for that coming year. And these guys are no joke, right? It's pretty serious because if you didn't do the thing that you said you were going to do by the end of that year, you could be on the hook for the entire dinner bill, and you have to sit there and explain to everyone at the table why you didn't make the thing happen that you said you were going to do. And that's something else that you can try to set up with some guys that you know. Again, ask around your circle of friends and see who might be interested in doing something similar. It doesn't have to be a big group, and in a lot of cases, just a few core guys can be really powerful. And before you guys take off, if you missed this video from just a few days ago on how to be better this year than you were last year, definitely check it out next. Please subscribe if you're not already. And as always, my friends, thank you so much for watching. Live well, and I'll see you in the next one.